Now, when I tell you to think of Tempe, I can guarantee you 90% of you guys think of Arizona State University, crazy college students. But there is a part of Tempe, the south part of Tempe, the south side below the 60, that is a completely different feel. It's almost like its own town. And I'm going to show you a neighborhood there today called the Lakes. So we're going to give you a general run through, talk about the pros and cons, and hopefully give you some insight if this is even a neighborhood that you should explore. I'm Courtney Strelzik. I'm a local real estate agent here in the East Valley. And if you want to see any current homes for sale in this neighborhood, my contact information is below. Just shoot me an email. Now, like I said, the Lakes is on the south side of Tempe, and the 60 really is a divider separating the north and the south side of this city. You're very far away from college students. It's much quieter. It feels much more suburban. But at the same time, you have great highway access. You have the 60, 101, and the 10 right at your doorstep. So it just makes it very easy to navigate Phoenix Metro from this location. You also have a lot of conveniences within a mile away. You have Target, you have Trader Joe's. There's a lot of different other grocery stores and shops and restaurants as well. And really in the past 10 years, we've seen more and more restaurants come to this area. On just the north side of the baseline, you have the Porch, Scramble, Crust, and there's also two really good coffee shops I like right around this area. Brick Road Coffee is a great spot, and then Steve's Espresso is only about a mile away too. And as far as location, it really is super convenient. Like I said, you're close to the highway, so it only takes you 15 minutes to get to Sky Harbor Airport. You're about 10 minutes away from Arizona State University, so if you do need to go there for work or for whatever reason, it's not that far. Central Phoenix is only about 18 minutes away, and then South Mountain, if you're into hiking or mountain biking, that's also about a 12-minute drive from this neighborhood. Now, as far as types of homes in this neighborhood, you have a little bit of everything. You have apartments, townhomes, and then of course, single family homes. As far as apartments, the price point you're starting, I've seen some in the low 200s, and then I've seen them go above $500,000. Now, the ones on that higher price point, they're going to most likely be on the water, have nicer finishes, and going to be larger. And something to note too is a lot of these apartments are owned by investors, so you will see a lot of renters in these apartment complexes. One tricky thing about the apartments, I would say, is the HOAs are pretty expensive. They're anywhere, depending what section you're in, it's anywhere from $380 to $420 a month. So it's definitely not cheap. It comes with a lot of amenities, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, but just something to be aware of. The townhomes in this neighborhood, they're going to be starting price point in like the mid 300s, and then they do go up to the 800s. And I mean, these ones that are going to be a higher price point, again, they're going to be on the water. A lot of them do have your own private backyard, a dock in the water. It's really basically like a single family home, but you do have attached walls to your neighbor. And then the HOA fees, it's not quite as bad as the apartments for most of them. A lot of them do start around $100 a month, but there are a couple sections that can get up to, $400. And then of course we have the single family homes, and the price point, most of them are going to be in the $600 to $700s. Now I did see one that sold not too long ago. It sold for $415,000. It was a pretty tiny home. And then we do have a handful that do sell above the $1 million price point. Not too many of them. And I wouldn't say they're luxury homes. It's not quite like some of these other like communities that we see like Crystal Point or Playa del Rey, but there's still some beautiful homes. And the perk of the single family homes is the HOA is not quite as expensive. You're looking at a little over $100. And what do those HOA fees go towards? Of course, you have the lakes. There's private docks for residents there. You can go out kayaking, and they do allow electric pontoon boats as well. They also have a lot of courts. There's tennis courts, pickleball, basketball. They do have a workout facility and an outdoor pool. And they also have 2 lakeside restaurants as well, Pier 54 and Lido. The neighborhood also does host a lot of different events. I know they had a Zumba class and water aerobics. They do holiday parties, and they even have a lighted boat parade during the holidays. And let's talk about pros and cons. I mean, one of the biggest pros is really the location. It's a very quiet neighborhood, but it's super easy to get around to go to Sky Harbor Airport or ASU. The neighborhood is also gorgeous. There's great amenities, and it's a slightly older neighborhood, so you have much more mature landscaping than some other parts like further southeast. So it's really just a gorgeous place to walk your dog or ride your bike. Now, one of the biggest cons is it's a slightly older neighborhood. Most of the homes were built in the 70s. And for Arizona, yes, that is considered an older neighborhood. And what comes with an older neighborhood is you will see a lot of outdated homes. Some of them have been completely remodeled and are more modern, but we've also seen some that still have that 70s flair. But if you are open to renovating a home, I have seen some really good deals in this neighborhood. There was one home, it was actually the original owner. It was an inherited property and the owner took care of it. They replaced the roof, the AC, the windows. It was just the interior was, it was a little outdated and it needed some tuning up, some TLC. Another thing to be aware of with older homes, particularly if it was built before 1978, is they were allowed to use lead-based paint at this time. Now, this is something you can definitely get inspected if this is of concern for you. Now, I would say the biggest con of this neighborhood is if you're a first-time home buyer or maybe your budget's on the lower end, it can be tricky in this neighborhood, mainly because the HOA fee is so high for those lower priced homes, those apartments and some of those townhomes. That monthly HOA fee really can jack up your monthly payments, and unfortunately that does take away some of your buying power. And another thing to note, if you do buy a home directly on the water, there are definitely some cons that come with that, and I actually made a video right here. It does target more neighborhoods in Gilbert, but it breaks down some of the common things that happen when you live on the water, and it really does apply still to the lakes in Tempe. So go ahead and give that a watch. Now, thank you so much for your time and have a fantastic day.